Greetings. Today we continue with part 4 of the weeping produced by the word. And we want to go back to Genesis 33:5 and look for the first use of this concept of merciful when Jacob is meeting Esau as he returns from Haran. It says, "And he, Esau, lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children, and said, Whose are those with thee? And he, Jacob, said, The children which God hath graciously or mercifully given thy servant." The word Eustace is interesting because it's one of our 10 synonyms of God's word. In 21 of its 23 uses in Psalm 119, it was translated by the word testimony. God has a testimony of being merciful to those who ask. Once in Psalm 119:91, it was rendered ordinances, and here in verse 132, it's rendered by the word used to do, thus yielding the idea of what the judge has decreed or ordained to do, that which is customary and normal. And what does David state the judge has ordained to do? To look upon and to be merciful unto all that love his name. What a blessed and comforting thought for all who love the Lord's name. I trust that you're included in that number today. Psalm 119, 133. "Order my steps in thy word, and let not any iniquity have dominion over me." Again, the polite request by the servant David to his master, "You please order my steps." The basic meaning of the word to be caused to be and to remain erect and upright in one's earthly walk. Its first use is found in Genesis 41:32, and it concerns God's word being established to Pharaoh by the 2 dreams which God interpreted through Joseph, and it carries the idea of preparation to meet a standard. This is the 4th and final appearance of this word translated order in Psalm 119. It has been translated as followed: directed in verse 5, fashioned in verse 73, established in verse 90, and order here in verse 133. Then the steps is used. It's translated in a wide variety of ways. Summarized, it's used of time and place as a singular point, or most often as the repetition of something like footsteps. The 17th Psalm in verse 5, "Hold up my goings in thy paths, that my footsteps slip not." Psalm 85:13, "Righteousness shall go before him, and he shall set us in the way of his steps." Psalm 140 and verse 4, "Keep me, O Lord, from the hand of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have purpose to overthrow my goings, my steps, my ways." The reason for this request is in order that iniquity should not have dominion over him. Ironically, it also means to pant after wickedness, idolatry, trouble, and vanity. And as such, it is the exact opposite of what Psalm 119 verse 131 has declared. This word iniquity is used 78 times in the Old Testament, but only here in the 119th Psalm. It primarily refers to one working wicked activities or doing the activity of the iniquity itself. Back in Psalm 19 in verse 13, he prayed, "Keep thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression." Paul said in Romans 6 and verse 12, "Let not sin therefore reign, have the dominion in your mortal body, that you should obey it in the lust thereof." And this word dominion only here in the book of Psalms. A total of 7 in the Old Testament, meaning to bear rule, to have the power or dominion over another.